Arizona, an 18-year-old girl slammed head-on into another car, killing both drivers. Police report that the accident was caused by the teen texting on her phone. California, I'm sure a lot of you will remember this accident. A 5-year-old boy and his two sisters, ages 4 and 2, were killed when the vehicle they were driving in on the 5 freeway was slammed into by a truck driver checking his voicemail. Utah, a 17-year-old girl was killed by a driver who ran a stoplight after falling asleep at the wheel. What do these deaths have in common? The drivers responsible were distracted while driving. Distracted driving is becoming the drunk driving of this century. While overall the number of car accidents is down, the number of distracted driving accidents is increasing. Today I would like to discuss with you first why distracted driving is a problem, second, what the causes and effects of distracted driving are, and third, what we need to do to reduce the number of distracted driving related accidents, including injuries and deaths. Let's begin by discussing why distracted driving is a problem. In April 2008 report by Thomas A. Rainey, a distraction is defined as attention given to a non-driving related activity, typically to the detriment of the driving performance. In other words, a distraction is anything that causes you to lose focus on your primary goal, which is to drive. Why is this a problem? Studies published in September 2009 by the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration, distracted driving reports to have been involved in 16% of all fatal crashes in 2008. The same study indicated that 5,870 people died and an estimated 515,000 were injured on police-reported crashes involving distracted driving. The same report indicates an increase in fatalities associated with distracted driving from 12% in 2004 to 16% in 2008. This may not seem like a huge jump, but imagine that you had a loved one involved in a car accident. That would seem like a huge jump to you. So now that we've seen that distracted driving is a growing problem, let's take a look at the causes and effects. According to the definition I stated earlier, many things constitute a distraction. Changing a CD, tending to children, eating, smoking, putting on makeup, being tired, all of these can constitute a distraction. I've actually seen somebody eating a bowl of cereal while driving a car, as I'm sure we've all seen people do weird, ridiculous things. And I'm sure after this, when you guys go get in your car, you'll notice a lot more the things that people do in their car. These two pictures, taken off of caraccidents.com, which is an actual website. This car, right here, the gentleman was changing a CD while driving and ran a red light, I believe, and was slammed into. This person fell asleep at the wheel, ran off the road, and hit a tree. As of today, however, the main contributor to distracted driving is cell phone use. A Virginia Tech 100-car study indicated that cell phone use is the #1 source of driver distraction. A compilation study published by the University of Utah in June 2006, psychologists indicated that someone talking on a cell phone while driving is equivalent to someone driving with a blood alcohol level of 0.08, which is the legal limit for an adult. The reason for this is that while people are talking on their cell phones, they experience what's called inattention blindness, which means that the driver is noticing the road or looking at road conditions but not really seeing them because they're paying attention to the conversation that they're having. Texting is also becoming a major problem. February 2008 article in U.S. News, 20% of drivers are sending and receiving text while driving. A 2007 Clemson University study reported drivers who are texting leave their lanes 10% more often than people who are not texting. I'm sure we all remember the Metro Rail accident back in September 2008 up in Chatsworth. According to an article in San Francisco Gate in March 2009, the engineer of the train was texting 22 seconds before the crash and missed an important signal and hit another train, resulting in 25 deaths. What are the effects of distracted driving? Obvious effects, car accidents. As I reported earlier, the NHTSA showed that 515,000 injuries were reported in 2008. 5,870 deaths, and 745,000 accidents that resulted in property damage only. So now that we have examined the problem and effects of what distracted driving is, what do we need to do as a society to stop the needless injuries and deaths? We as individuals and as a society as a whole need to work together to make conscious choices to stop distracted driving. The government has recently taken steps to help curb cell phone usage. The New York Times article published in August 2009 indicated that 14 states have banned texting while driving, and 7 states have banned handset use. Obviously, they see texting as a bigger problem. These states have banned handset use for all drivers, no matter the age or the circumstance. However, there are some states that have banned handset use, for certain drivers, like drivers under the age of 21, drivers that only have their permits. And there's a couple states that have banned handset use for bus drivers only, school bus drivers, which I don't really understand that, but and then as of January 2010, there are several more states that will have laws in effect banning handset use altogether. The same New York Times article indicated, the August 2009 article indicated that the federal government will, in the upcoming years, will be conducting a series of meetings and seminars aimed at laying out plans for future laws prohibiting engaging in behind-the-wheel multitasking. Cell phone companies, wireless companies, are recently noticing their role in banning cell phone use while driving. Verizon Wireless has recently started a big campaign about not texting and driving. This is an example of their billboard. I'm sure some of you might have seen in several locations that they're doing. Hopefully more cell phone companies get on board with that. And basically what it comes down to is common sense. The choices we make when we get behind the wheel could very well determine whether we will contribute to the staggering accident statistics. If you're feeling tired, don't drive. It's easier said than done, but realistically you could be making a life or death decision. You could carpool, have someone pick you up, or just don't drive. Is it really that important? Don't eat or put on makeup. I'm sure we've all seen people doing this. We've probably all done it. I did have my coffee as I was driving this morning. Perhaps getting up a little bit earlier will help provide more time so you don't have to do these things on the run. When your cell phone rings or that text is coming through, you really need to ask yourself, is this really necessary to answer? Chances are a majority of the calls or texts that you're getting in really aren't. If you really do need to answer it, pull over. As we have seen, distracted driving is a growing problem in the U.S. Car accidents are on the rise, as are injuries and deaths. As our lives become busier and busier and technology continues to advance, it seems that we spend more time trying to multitask in our cars with devastating consequences. Many of us think we're the careful ones, it won't happen to me. We need to realize that all it takes is a split second of a distraction to swerve into another lane or rear end someone. We need to make a conscious effort to focus on driving and not use that time to do other things. Perhaps if others had made the right choice, then maybe the people in Arizona, California, and Utah would still be alive today. Keep this in mind as you get into your car after class today. Thank you.